Hey everybody, what's happening? I am the Admiral, and you are on the lifeboat. Can I get a couple of fives around this campus if you can hear me and you can see me? As those things don't always coincide, especially since I'm not really the tech guy, and the tech guy is currently cleaning up. As you can see, we fired up a little early this morning, and Spanky was actually ready to roll when I got here, which impressed me. But since I may leave a little early and he may go a little later, hey, there's my 5x5s. Thank you, everybody. As you can see, I'm in boat mode. Pretty happy about that. The newest nut, what's happening? Bacon Bits Ben Turner, or Bay Cubed, as they say. Jason P, what's happening? Barazy Girl, how are you? I live for now. I live for now. I live for now. What's happening, Taekwondo? How are you? Good to see you. Evening, everyone. Yeah, somewhere probably is. It probably is. Yarn Prepper, what's happening? Good to see you. I'm glad that you are here. Glad you have arrived. Becky USA, how are you, Becky? Hope you're doing well. Call me Matrix Rabbit. I always love it when the Matrix Rabbit is here. Good morning, Mr. Sunshine. That's right. Starting Monday morning off with Bee Gees. I don't want to hear anything about it. Actually, I don't think my man's up this early. We're pretty safe in Thailand. Well, I forgot Thailand. I have been there, you know. I've actually been there more than once, but I went there on business. I didn't get to do much outside of the hotel that I was in. Uh, that may have been a good thing, honestly. Uh, I also went to a pharmacy back in the bad old days. You know what I mean? Wasn't the best time in my life. Uh, Casey, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Kenya, how are you? Glad that you're here. Always glad that you're here. True story. Hey, Flick Fox, what's happening? And you know what? That, everybody, is a verified sighting of a Spanx Calhoun. Always a cool thing too. Spanky will be joining the party here shortly. Kim is Blue, what's happening? How you been? So, um, wanted to talk about. A lot of people reached out to me after last night's conversation on T'other Channel. A couple of you thought that I was being a little harsh with my partner. Um, I think that my response to that is probably that this is a phenomenon that I have seen since I have begun to speak about anything, literally about anything. Right? Whether I'm on a stage, whether I'm here, there is just a group of people that if I came out and said, "Have I got a deal for you? I need you to carry this cash out of here and you can keep it." Right? All of this is yours. And people would say, "How much are we looking at?" I'd say, "It's about $1 million here." Right? And what does it weigh? Well, it's going to be over 100 pounds or so. You can't get that in hundreds, right? There's no way you could get that in hundreds. Man, this weighs so much. There are people on planet Earth that I promise you, if you gave them gold, they would bitch about the fact that it's yellow gold or white gold, right? Or rose gold. There are people that you just can't make happy. And I have stopped trying to be everything for everybody. And I think this is probably not a bad, hey, Lori Abs, good to see you. I think this is probably not such a bad thing to talk about. Nicole Jonker, how are you? Glad that you're here. Yeah, this is worth talking about. Not the harsh thing, because I don't care. I'll be really honest with you, I don't care. Um, the reason that I don't get too wound up or concerned about that. That's not somebody I'm working with on the one-on-one. This isn't somebody in my five. Not sure if you know this, but Quibs and I have gotten to be pretty good friends. I've spent a good deal of time talking about this subject with her, and it needed to be said for the crowd for a reason. And the reason is this affects other people as well, right? It really does. 7 says, ahoy crew, driving to pain clinic to get another 10% reduction of the pain pump. Well, congratulations. That's fantastic. And keep up the good work. It's that is harm reduction, right? Absolutely. Moving forward, hitting those goals. And it's nice when you can do it in an increment that really makes you feel like you're knocking it out. And 10% is huge. It's absolutely massive. Good for you. But I think honestly, this is a subject worth talking about because you can't please everybody, right? I promise. There's no chance in hell you're going to please everybody. So maybe, well, you know what, Kenya? Honestly, I don't pay him a whole lot of mind. I don't. The reason that I feel the need to comment on it is more for the lesson of what it says. You want to come this way, or are you coming around?
Just in here not caring, huh?
I am truthfully, I'm not. I think it's. I hope it's the takeaway for everybody in this gig, because this is something that virtually every single one of us struggles with, and I know because I read your emails. No, I don't mean the ones you send to me. I mean, we figured out how to get into your. No, I'm kidding. But the emails that you send us, this is a recurring theme. This is something that comes up over and over and over again. If we could all stay in our lane.
Hey, Matrix Rabbit, what's going on? Jason P.
Lori Ebb says, Anna Nicole needed to hear it online. She did. And the reason that Anna Nicole needed to hear it online is because she has become a role model, whether she likes it or not, to a lot of people. And you know something? I don't know if I've seen Goosebumps 801 here today, but
it's been a while for me.
Goosebumps 801 left me a comment after last night's video. And the comment said something about, she turned it back on me and said that very often people will pay a certain compliment. And I don't remember, I'm not going to paraphrase. But it's something that someone says nice about me on a pretty regular basis that I deflect in the same way that Quibbs does. And I'm here to say, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not. Because when I'm watching it on someone else, right? If you're a role model to somebody and somebody says, hey, what you're doing is fantastic, and you go, nah, it's no big deal, then you're saying that to every other person out there that's trying to do the same thing I'm doing. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal in everybody else, then it's a big deal in me. And I can't preach that if I don't live it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I can pick up what you're laying down there, Admiral. Hi from North Georgia, everyone. Catching up on 2 times Miss Sunrise Dawn. Shannon Smith, I know I've been inspired, but I'm not sure in a good way. Interesting.
You know what? I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah. I also would like to know more. What do you mean by that? You know?
If you're cool sharing more, I'd love to hear more about that, because that is one of those really kind of interesting intros. But hey, Kenya says, hey, Spanx. This is one of those lessons that I hope everybody takes heart to. By the way, it's Monday. I know a lot of people hate Mondays. This is my favorite day of the week. It really is. This is my favorite day of the week. This is the day you got a shot at turning around a bad month, right? A bad year. Every single time Monday rolls around, it should be an opportunity to leap out of bed and go, you know what? Today I started a legit. Hey, Nicole. Is that Nicole?
Nicole
Jonker. I think the J is
soft J.
Soft J.
Jogging.
Yogging. I think they may say yogging.
I think they may say yogging.
Good reference. That's my boy. That's my boy.
Today will be great success.
Makes me so proud.
Yeah.
You know what? Whenever your offspring busts out with a really great movie reference in perfect timing, it puts a lump in my throat.
Chokes you up, man.
I really wish Quibbs was watching. She would have loved that. It's one of her favorite films.
Chrissy Never and Newton. Have you seen the second one?
The second Anchorman?
Yeah.
But of course.
I haven't.
You have not?
No, I'm not big into sequels, but I'll give it a shot.
Oh my goodness. You're going to love it.
I'm like a classic movie guy.
Could you pull up that Lori Abs? There you go.
Anna Nicole got me through my mom and brother disconnecting from the, not Scientology, mean parent and shame on my mental illness. My oldest brother had schizophrenia. Reese helped me in.
You know what? I love that. I really do. I love the fact that people are coming together in a community that lifts up one another. Reese helped me to understand it's okay to be without happy.
It's okay to be happy without the toxic family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you something else. Here, let us add to that. If you didn't get dealt a really fantastic hand when it comes to your family, because people say all the time, you know what? You can't pick your family, right? You can pick your friends. You can't pick your family. Of course you can pick your family. Why the hell can't you? Right? You know, I know that this came up the other day apparently and freaked out a bunch of people. And I only know this because there are some people that sent me some screenshots. But why are you still awake, Cricket? There's an excellent question. But you know what came up, Calhoun? Apparently, a lot of people were really freaked out to find out that, because I've said for years that I have two kids, one of whom is biologically mine and one of whom is not. They have assumed for the entire time that you were the and
I've been correcting people past couple days, actually.
well, I think it's
Actually, correcting's not the right word though, because it came up in the comments, and it is something that deserves to be talked about, and I have been talking about it the past couple days.
well, you know what? It's I think the reason, truthfully and honestly, whether anyone chooses to believe this, I do forget all the time. How many times over the course of your life have both of us said something like, well, what do you expect? You know,
Yeah.
like he inherited it or that I gave it to him, and I'll go, yeah, well, you know.
I told him about our weird birthmarks that are the same.
We do have matching birthmarks in a lot of places, which was also a pretty cool gift. But you know what? It literally never made a fart bit of difference to me.
No, you've always been my dad to me.
Yeah, and I know it never meant a difference to you.
It does seem to make a difference for people around us. For some reason, it seems pretty important to, all the parents involved, the grandparents involved.
Oh no,
You know what I mean?
It has been. Oh yeah, no, it has been.
It's been great for us, but for everyone else, for some reason, it's a really hard pill to swallow.
You know who
I think they need to get over themselves.
You know who was great? My dad.
Yeah, he was. You know who was great?
Yeah, he. You were absolutely his favorite. He just loved you, and
listen.
Well, he was also blind in the exact same way. But this is my point. If you say you can't choose your family, you absolutely damn well can choose your family. You know, you are absolutely no less son to me than anyone possibly could be. And you know what? I have a sister the same way, who is no less sister to me than my other sister. And I have an extended family of brothers and sisters who are now in countries all over the planet. You know what I mean? And it's amazing how much you start off with these parasocial relationships online, right?
Speaking of, has anyone talked to Aryeh lately? I need to reach out to him. I haven't been thinking about him. I haven't seen him lately. He did just have a kid, so.
Yes, I was but I'm trying to remember the last, because I did see him somewhere and I just don't remember where.
Been weeks for me. I don't know. That's not true. I can't remember the last time I saw him though.
You know,
which is
Lori Abbs, great comment. She says Reese has every reason to be the way my mom is, and she chose to make her son feel loved. You know what? I think that's a beautiful thing. It's really hard. There are people out there, right? There are people out there who have a more difficult time showing emotion or showing love. There are people who really struggle with this, right? I'm sure I was too much in the other direction. You know what I mean? I probably hugged and kissed Spanky until, I probably turned you into a mean kid with all the hugs and kisses. I'm a very affectionate person. My whole family is. We've always really shown affection.
I had to harden up when you left, so I didn't have you anymore.
Oh, it's so hard. 5 days, no caffeine, free Diet Coke. Hard. Survived. Call with my daughter. This is... Let me tell you something.
I like to give it a good shake when I pull it out.
This is epic. And let me, we've done shows on this, but if you're new to the Lifeboat and you haven't seen any of these shows, Diet Coke and all of the other diet beverages in this environment, right? If you take the can on, you turn it over, and you start reading the ingredients, and it's got caramel and, you're gonna have to color.
Google some of the ingredients guaranteed.
Phenyltronics. Contains phenyltronics. Right. It's got this very unusual name, but it sounds a lot like, phenyl. It's got a bunch of different pHs.
Diphenyl.
Yeah, I think it's phenyltronics or phenyltronics, one or the other.
Phenyl mess you up.
Phenylamine. But everything is written this big until you get to that, which is that big. So I says to myself, why the hell would you have to write that big? Because you know there's
Must be bad.
and it is bad.
It must be bad.
And it is bad.
Did you see me talk from the clavicle?
There
right
you go. There you go. Soda is so awful, and I love it, says Shannon Smith. I appreciate your honesty.
Sending love to you both. Anyone reading this, love the life boat. Authenticity is hard to find, and it's lovely to see you all staying true to yourselves. Can't wait to see what the future holds. I'm right there with you, living in the gray area.
Right?
The future is bright, the present's brighter, you know? Great success.
Yes, there you go. See goosebumps up there?
Oh, boom.
Yeah.
Phenylketonurics.
There you see, I was really close.
Phenylketonurics.
I was on that. I think if you back that up, you'll see that I was not even in the ballpark.
Just back that feed up, you know?
No, there's no reason to. Just take my word for it that I was very close.
Aspartame.
Yeah, aspartame. Where is it?
Bro, right here, Bracy's got it. Makes you crave sugar even more.
Yeah,
Therefore never satisfied. Did you guys know that the reason you crave sugar is because there is a bacteria feeding on sugar in your gut, and when you eat sugar, it eats, and when you don't eat sugar, it craves. And if you starve it out, it'll die, and you'll stop having cravings for sugar.
There's a lot of truth to that. However, if for
There's
anyone
more to it than that.
Yeah,
but
no, that's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
But for people who have been addicted to opiates, you've probably hit an experience where all of a sudden you just go, and you need sugar more than anything in the world. You just realize that if I don't get some sugar right now, I mean, it's not a craving. It's a absolute, I need this. But it required, I used to put sugar in orange juice because my body would crave it so bad. And I had a doctor tell me later in life that what happens is your brain takes so much glucose to run that if, for whatever reason, opiates make it very difficult for you to process the sugar or whatever into stuff for your brain.
interesting.
Yeah, you'll start to crave it. I assume Spanx was the one not biologically yours. You said something about your daughter being born an addict because both you and her mom were. So process of elimination, but DNA be damned, be darned, he's yours.
Someone's a good listener. I think it's Miss Sunrise Dawn.
Yes. However, Spanky was born an addict as well. My daughter was not born in active addiction. Her mom had been sober for the almost every single day of the pregnancy, except I think the first 4 days or 5 days or something along those lines. Because we sent her off to rehab, and she was there for a while before they even realized she was pregnant. But she was in rehab when they found out. Grace of God stuff, very fortunate stuff. But
shout out to Cedar, love you.
Yes, shout out to my daughter for sure. Here's the deal though. In both cases, my children both come from parents who have had problems with drugs and alcohol. So it's really, yeah. But you're right. I did say that, and you are a listener. Kraken Studios, The Real Booty. Well, how about that? That's a hell of a name. There's a name you'll see every day. Kraken Studio, The Real Booty.
That word always is very thought-provoking for me. There's lots of Krakens historically in my life.
Release the Kraken. Toxic family can go. Child.
Cedar's really good, Brazy.
Can you pop that Kraken at the very top there? There you go. Toxic family can go child to parent as well. My husband's mom told me I love my daughter, but it doesn't mean I have to like her. Wow. This is all based on her choices and behavior. You know what? It absolutely can go both ways. There's no dynamic that is 100% predictable, or maybe it's not the same from every situation at all. And there are some toxic situations where, every family member in every possible dynamic you can come up with has happened at one time or another, to be sure.
What about stevia? Plant-based sweetener. I know it's much better than chemical-based, but does the body react the same way? I think that all of the substitutes are a little unique. I should educate myself on these because have it in my head that they're worse for me than sugar, but I haven't educated myself to back that up, right? So I would have to. I would suggest to do some research on it. I personally will, and then maybe the next time we talk, we can have some more information on it. But
Here's my this is what I've been told, and I don't know about stevia, and I feel like Spanky does, that it's something I would like to know about. But the problem with these sweeteners is they are way more sweet than sugar.
it's kind of like an opiate versus an opioid,
Right.
except for talking about sugar.
Yeah, in every case, these things have like 100 times the sweetness of sugar or 1,000 times the sweetness of sugar. The trouble is your body, because we've been conditioned for so long, that the fact that it's not sugar, it's still causing you to do that crash and, this number where you start to crave the sweetener the same way you would the sugar. And unfortunately, it's fucking electronics, and that stuff's poison. It's made in a lab and it's not very good for you.
Rosie raises a really good point. Where did it go?
I'm not surprised.
Sugar is plant-based.
It is absolutely.
Pardon me.
plant-based.
It was Shannon Smith. Pardon me.
Yes.
They're right next to each other.
It is absolutely plant-based. And I'll tell you something. I know that there's a big push to get away from sugar, right? But it's like anything else. If you were to moderate it, right? Sugar isn't such an awful thing. Added sugar is a really awful thing, right? The fact that there's enough sugar in a can of Coke where if you see how much it is in a bag, you wouldn't believe me. I did a show on it where we took how much sugar, right, goes into a can of Coca-Cola and held it up in a baggie, and you would go, there's no way on God's green earth, right? It's astounding how much sugar they put in stuff like that. Stevia is a natural sweetener that is 50, is that what she said?
Look, hold on, sorry.
It's okay.
50 to 300 times.
Good enough. If it's above 50, who cares? I mean, that makes sort of proves the point. I don't know if it matters what the stuff is made of. If it's 50 to 100 times sweeter, it's going to cause this number again, right? You're going to keep riding that roller coaster of, oh, that made me feel really good. And my body released all kinds of stuff, that makes me feel for a moment like life is great. Because that's really what you're doing when you're riding that roller coaster. I drink a diet soda, and then I feel the need later to drink another diet soda. You may not be running this through in your dome, but literally what's happening is that soda has given you a release of chemicals that make you feel all right for a little while. And it's not by accident. They work on this stuff.
Kraken Studio says natural sugar, meaning in fruit, is something I lean on. That's funny that voice to text did that. I'd rather munch on some frozen strawberries while drinking water than drink soda.
Good for you.
There is a tier system to sugars and artificial sweeteners and where the sugar is sourced from even. I definitely like to get the most of my sugar from fruit as well. And I put it in yogurt usually, or just eat the fruit. But that's different than getting your sugar from chocolate, right? Or processed chocolate, right? Like milk chocolate,
right,
or some gummies. That's going to have a very different experience with all of these different sugars. The more you look into this stuff, it directly affects your health. What I eat today is going to affect how I feel tonight and tomorrow even more. Yep. And that's going to happen every time you have a meal. Maybe I should do something on this. This is a good topic. This is really fun.
Shannon Smith.
Sugar makes you feel like life is great, and then you crash. Well, it is a drug.
Absolutely, right? Does that sound familiar? Can anybody else relate to that? It makes you feel great, but then you crash. Yeah. Well, I did that same dance for 30 years. Different drug, same dance. Right?
Living in the Gray Area says, I just Googled stevia, and it says it can cause bloating, nausea, dizziness, numbness, and I wasn't expecting all that. I have to say, Googling stuff, sometimes I regret it.
Sounds, no, I'm saying that sounds really good, right? Listen to that. Bloating, nausea, dizziness, numbness. Where can I get some of that? Bring it on. Yes. Yeah, I think I'd rather go with sugar. Right? Moderation.
I like gummies. I just was illustrating that they're not very good for you, Chow Yun Smut.
She's been up for 2 days. Do not step on her gummies. That woman hasn't been asleep yet. You know what? It depends on what kind of gummies. Spanky and I ate quite a few of them when he was a kid.
Yeah, my teeth aren't good enough to be a full-time gummy enjoyer these days.
Yeah, well, I can relate.
Boo! Getting lots of sauce here.
Monk.
Yeah, Monk's in here.
Ah, good to hear you. Good to see you, Monk. I didn't see you, but I saw someone mention you. There he is. What's up, Monk? Rick Smith, good to see you. See, I've been neglecting in my saying hello. Miss Sunrise Dawn, what's happening?
Do you have some sort of focusing mechanism that I don't? I like totally will get lost, and that's when there's a little bit of silence or humming.
Oh, well, the it's not so much that there's a focus thing. It's probably just that we back in the day, if you stopped talking, people stopped buying. So, and this is no joke, right? If you ever watch any of the stuff where we were on stage, whatever you do in the show is not that big a deal. But when the people go to the back of the room to start buying, right, then the speaker has to just tap dance, and it doesn't much matter what you say, but you got to not stop talking until the last person leaves the room, because it's been experimented on. And if the speaker stops talking 4 minutes,
they'll be like, "What am I doing?"
The second you stop talking, they walk out the door.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So dead air meant literally, there goes my son's not eating.
Will you hand me the coffee thing?
Right. It meant you're not getting a PlayStation. That's what it meant.
I remember you talking to me as a kid, telling me that things were talking to me about your business and stuff and the direction it was going. I have weird random memories of that. And knowing what I know now, I wonder where in the whole process and journey you were at that time. I remember hearing about, probably shouldn't say any of their names, but I remember a lot of conversations that we had about your business and our lives and stuff. It was pretty exciting until it wasn't. You know what I mean? I have to say.
Well, you know something? No, I mean,
I love you.
I wish this was a conversation we could have, but we can't, because you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
with
fine.
the number of names and
yeah, we can have it some other time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were a lot of really exciting things that happened. We had a very unusual life. The FBI came to my house on a half a dozen occasions for 3 different things.
I remember you being handcuffed to a chair in our apartment one time in Nevada.
On Father's Day.
Was that Father's Day?
It was.
Bastards.
Yep. And I didn't do anything wrong that day. That is the only time in my life that I've been arrested for something I did not do anything wrong for.
I remember what that was about too.
That was horrible. And I've told that story on here so that you guys do know the story. I will refresh your memory. It was just a person that we fired from my office, but we were still friends with. So she called me and said, "Oh, my landlord is taking everything because I didn't pay the rent. Can you go over to my apartment? The door is open.
Get my stuff."
And she told me exactly what stuff she wanted me to get. So I went over with his mom and my brother, Johnny, and we packaged all of her stuff up in boxes, wrote on the top of the boxes what was in what. Then I wrote a letter that said, "Hey, I got your stuff. Just come by my place." And I stuck that on the door. I got arrested for burglarizing her house. She called the police and told them I burglarized their house. And
did we ever find out why she made that decision?
Because I fired her and her boyfriend because her boyfriend took off for lunch and allowed his mom to answer the phone.
Oh, wow.
Took the secretary who he was dating at the time with him to lunch. And I walk in and I look at this woman I've never seen before in my life who's answering the phone on a business that's doing 380 grand a week in volume. I'm like, who the hell are you? Right? She doesn't know anything about the business. And that phone used to ring, 35 times an hour. It was a fairly serious office. It was somewhat terrifying, actually.
So it was revenge.
Absolutely 100% revenge. And the crazy thing is, so when they took us to court, this is a story worth telling. This is a story worth telling. But when we went to court, the prosecuting attorney comes out and they said, "You guys are in luck. They're ready to let you plead this down to." And I went, I'm not pleading to nothing.
We're fighting this because the person literally gave me explicit permission, changed their mind out of revenge.
I said, who leaves a note on the door?
Yeah.
Who leaves a note on the door of the person they robbed? Who takes all the stuff they robbed and put it in a box and write on it, this is what you need, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you're stupid.
I said, this is absolutely,
this down.
I said, there's no chance. So as they do, it's like a car salesman. I kid you not, people. It's no different than a car salesman.
All right.
Right, let me go talk to my boss. We'll see if he can throw in the Rusty Jones undercoating. Yeah. Right, he never does this, but that's literally what happened. The prosecutor comes back and says to me and your mom and your uncle, "Tell you what, we've got this down to trespassing." Right? I said, "Look, blow me." Sorry. That's exactly what I said. I said, "I don't think you get this, man.
I don't think you understand. I have explicit permission."
And your mother and your uncle went, I don't know, man. Trespassing's not so bad. You know what I mean? Like they're saying no fine. I go, well, then you guys knock yourself out and say that you trespassed. I went there with permission,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm not freaking pleading to
They're
anything.
asking you in that position. I don't know if y'all are very familiar with this, but this is how the Department of Justice works now.
Yeah.
They will intimidate you. Because they are also expecting that you don't know how things work. But when they say plea down, take a plea deal, what they want you to do is to tell on yourself for
Yes.
something that you may or may not have done.
Correct.
But they'll tell you even specifically what to tell on yourself for.
Right.
And if you do so, they will do something nice for you. Usually the something nice is something that wouldn't have happened anyways if you just knew how to handle yourself in court. So this is criminal in my opinion, but it's how the Department of Justice works. It's how the DA works. It's how the prosecuting attorneys for the state, for the government work. And that's why their conviction rate is astronomical.
Especially in the feds.
Because
it's in the high 90s.
Because of plea deals. It's kind of like lobbying for criminals if you really think about it.
It's insane because when you go in there to take the plea deal, what they want as a prosecuting attorney is they want to be able to say, I had a 97% conviction rate. Now you think, wow, they went to court and beat all those people? No, they never go to court. And if they do, I mean, every once in a while, someone will go to court, and it's usually somebody that has
that 3%.
Yeah, has a decent chance of beating him or whatever. But I sat in there, and the guy said, so you're not going to take that? I said, no effing chance. Am I pleading to that? So he goes walking off, and they're yelling at me, no lie. Right? I mean, we were partying drug addicts and idiots at that time, and I understand why they just wanted to be out of the courtroom.
To their opinion. Yeah. They're not tied to you, dude. You know what I mean? They could be trespassers if they want to.
And that's what I said. If you want to be a trespass, and I said, but you mark my words, that dude, he's going to come back and throw this out. And he came back and went, well, listen, they're gonna throw, but they have the right to come back and charge you. I said, well, you let them knock themselves out.
Yeah,
right?
I have the right to.
I said, and as I was walking out the door, I said to the guy, your first gig, the first thing you wanted me to plead guilty to, right, was some kind of, it was breaking and entering or something. Like the first thing that they brought over was a serious freaking crime, but you're not going to do any time. But when you're in the system, right? This is a true story too.
Serious crimes don't get that.
I pled guilty to something I didn't do, and it's on my record. You know what happened? Forever. I was running and I fell in a hole and hurt my knee. Now, admittedly, it was as soon as it happened, I thought I'm going to rip off the insurance companies on this, right? But I didn't. I never got to a point where I followed through with it. They asked me some questions on the telephone, and I answered the questions, but I didn't file. I never filed. I never tried to get any money. I never got $1, but they came and arrested me on the last day that they could charge me with this. And when I went into the courtroom, I was like this. I'm literally doing this one because I needed to pick up. And I'm dope sick as hell. And I'm sitting in the room and she's like, you sign this today. I can have you out of here. And we're not even going to put you on probation. I was like, nothing? She's like, nothing. I said, all right, give it to me. So I signed this puppy and walk out the door and I figure, what's the big deal, right?
But is this for the same thing? Are we still on the same crime?
No, this is a completely different crime. No, this is a completely different crime. They tried to get me for insurance fraud, but I never filed. I never got $1. Right. If I had just wanted, but I was dope sick. I wasn't going to sit there and argue with this woman because I said to her, I didn't get paid.
Look, if you have an appointment or something, like it's the way that they do it is criminal in my opinion. Like if I have somewhere to be, like they're gonna make me sit here and deliberate long enough to where I'll just do what they want so that I can still keep my appointment. See, does that make sense? And that's just one aspect of it. I think it's so criminal, and it's definitely what Kraken Studios said, built on revenue. And I don't think this is great subject matter, but
well, you know what? It's a legitimate subject matter. I mean, it is.
It's stuff we both have lived quite extensively.
How we treat people in the system is horrific. And you hear people say all the time stuff like, why would anybody confess to something they didn't do, right? Because you hear people say, RICO is a prime example. It has its good points, but the serious erosion of our rights. Bacon Bits Ben Turner is correct. Because literally, if you understand how RICO works, like they took John Gotti to court, and I'm not saying John Gotti was a good man.
All of his associates.
He was a bad human being, right? He was a bad human being, but they brought him to court on a case that he beat. He had beat it. They, changed it up just a little bit, tried him again on not on the exact same stuff, but basically the same stuff. Not that murder, but a very similar blah, blah, blah. After he beat them the second time and they started calling him the Teflon Don, they charged him for the exact same crime because they knew what the defense was. The defense had already laid everything out.
Isn't that triple jeopardy? You can't.
But they charged him as a Fed under what's called RICO. And yeah, it is double jeopardy. And what they did to him literally was a dirtbag erosion of rights. But it brings up a very interesting point, right? Right? He was a bad man. 19 people got whacked, that he ordered their deaths and how much dope got put on the street and all that stuff. But, and if you do charge RICO, once RICO became a thing, there was going to be somebody probably that got charged twice. But they should never be able to do it again. They should never be able to charge somebody for a state crime, and if the person beats it, then charge him as a federal crime. But it does happen. Recently, there have been people that have litigated this to the Supreme Court and had it thrown out. So there is some, anytime you bring a new law in, you do have to. Every single small thing that can happen has to be, adjudicated all the way through the Supreme Court. And RICO is one of those. It does have great points, right? I mean, think about the jesters, what we're talking about right now. That's how you would take down an organization like that because they're all involved in it. They're all running this prostitution and gambling ring. You could charge every swinging dick there that happens to be a member. That's what RICO's built for. It's a great concept. It's not so good if you use it to charge somebody twice. You got to respect that.
I want to take this opportunity to talk about the journal on the website for a second. Is that all right?
Sure.
So I was experiencing some trouble with completing transactions for the journal companion yesterday. I spent about 4 hours on the phone with, well, I didn't, but my developer spent about 4 hours on the phone with customer service, and they're all peons and know nothing. But the good news is we're getting it worked out. But currently, I don't think the sale. I don't think you can buy it right now. I don't think it's working. I think it gives the error message every time you try. Every transaction that we tried to put through was not working. So I have my guy on it. I'm working on it. I worked on it pretty much all day yesterday. So I will keep you guys updated, but I wanted to let you guys know. From what I understand, it's not taking people's money or anything. It's just like not working. It's just not hooked up. It should be hooked up. It's hooked up, but it's acting like it's not hooked up. So just wanted to let you guys know if you're running into errors or, you're trying to get that and it's not working, that is why. And I really appreciate all of your undying support. Danielle McCoy, Roberta, what's going on?
FlickFox says they're about to let a bunch of people, a lot of prisoners out in England, and it's
I always
because
feel
they're
like
at
that's a bad
capacity.
move.
Well, something. It's
like you're going to let a bunch of these certain kind of people out at the same time from the same place and just watch them disperse like a little disease. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to. That is kind of cold, but
no. But my thing is that I find it fascinating that if you charge somebody for a crime and then you give them a sentence to say, well, we're going to let you out early because we didn't really build enough prison beds for the amount of crime that was coming.
Right.
You know what you guys need to do? You need to do what we do here in the United States, and that's figure out how many kids can't read in the 4th grade and then build your prisons based on that number, because that is how you predict how many beds you need for no joke. It's a lack of education that puts people in prison. You can actually Google this and research it. I'm not making this up. How we figure out how many beds we need in the U.S. is to check the illiteracy rates in the 4th grade, which is horrible, right? Just goes to show that if we were educating everybody, we'd have a lot less prisons.
What do you think about this, Dad?
You know what? We could probably make that happen.
It's just a very different process. It's going to cost more. It's going to be more difficult. We would like that. Ideally, it would be really, really cool. And it's an idea that we've been...
I think we will probably make something that people can buy. It will probably be a limited run kind of a thing. But yeah, I think that's in the future.
And the question we just answered was by Lisa Trimble. Will there ever be a hard copy of the journal?
Yes.
Marjan also asks, so journaling really helps with the ADHD? Yes. Resounding yes.
and everything else.
And everything else. The resident onion peeler, my journal.
Yeah, it helps with everything else.
Creepy bee, it's our pleasure.
And I don't know how old you are, right? But it really does start to become a thing where having an external hard drive, which is what I think of my journal in terms of. It is an external hard drive. It is a place that I keep information where it's not as safe for me anymore up here. It's just not.
Shannon Smith, a lack of education, I don't think is as related to a lack of education, like actually teaching kids, as it is related to a lack of financial security in households.
Well, all of those things combined.
There are schools in low-income areas, contrary to popular belief. The kids that go there just have so much, and I can attest to this personally. The kids that go there have other things going on in their heads that are much more important than whatever the hell the teacher's talking about. Much more close to home, much more visceral. So I think that it's not an actual education problem. It's a raising our kids problem. Obviously it's it, but just teaching the kid to read isn't enough.
No, but what it comes down to, Shannon Smith, is that is a symptom, as Spanx is trying to say.
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
It's a symptom of what's going on in someone's house. And if in the fourth grade the child is not reading, more often than not, it's not because of an education thing. It's because of a really rough, But again, it's an indicator. And if by some chance the illiteracy rates are considerably lower, it's because we're doing what needs to be done to make sure that these kids are not put in those situations.
Hi, Becky.
Poverty is absolutely a huge problem, but there are absolutely people that come out of poverty and don't end up in prison. Lots and lots and lots of them, right? It's and there have been entire generations of people who were poor who didn't end up in prison and took care of one another and didn't end up, it really comes down to so many different social things. But
Shannon Smith asks, with ADHD, how do you concentrate? Asking for a friend. Well, very carefully, Shannon Smith. It's an exercise in diligence as well as discipline, for sure. Every time, for me personally.
I put blocks of time that I assign to what I'm doing, right? Because I tend to go off the rails and I tend to go into different directions. So if there's a project that I'm working on, I will block 1 hour to work on that specific project because I know I am going to jump off the rails. But by setting up a goal and having a journal open or having a notepad out there that I'm actually working on it and saying, all right, I'm giving this 1 hour, kind of helps me to focus. And I'm still going to do my thing.
Yeah.
But if I'm giving an hour, it's because I need 15 minutes, if that makes sense.
No, 100% block out extra time. Do you employ ambient stimulation, like leaving the TV on or having a little bit of music playing to help you keep that focus as well?
I cannot have silence and do anything.
Or me too. I can have silence, but I employ that often to help me focus as well. Some sort of external stimulus like the radio or the TV.
Yeah. For me, even if it's me doing this number or me doing something where I am like, I've been in some really, really like sound deprivation kind of cells. I've been in some that are so. There is your friend.
There's my friend,
the devil.
Aria Schleider.
Speak of the angel. It's good to see you.
We were just talking about you. Did we miss you?
We really were just
Send
talking
some
about
cute
you.
baby pics as soon as you can, man. I would love to see them. I'm so glad you're here, dude. I was gonna hit you up after this because I hadn't seen you in a while, and I was just gonna check on you, brother. But I will say this was a good question. Living in the gray area, I want to start a YouTube and podcast soon. What's the first thing you would recommend to do first? I want to be set up for success before I start. I want it to be sustainable. I am ADHD. First thing would decide what you want to do. What are you passionate about? The key to sustainability is having fun and then not pushing your fun too far, right? We've all, been having so much fun that we kind of go into fun overload and we need a little break from the funsies afterwards, right? So you want to find something that you really, really enjoy, and then you want to pace yourself. What about you, Admiral?
I would say this. I would get out my journal and I would define what success means to you in a YouTube channel. Because as I said, when I first started doing this and I told people what I was going to do, they said, "You're going to come on and talk about trying to help people not do drugs." I said, "Yeah." They're like, "You're not going to get 50 people to watch you ever lifetime." And here's the thing. My response to every one of them was, "So what do you think I can get? Can I get half of that?" Because to me, if I could get 25 people to listen to me, that sounded like a pretty successful, channel to me, right? No joke. I thought if I could get six people that would show up and listen to me and say, "I'm going to try to not use anymore, or I'm going to try to lose weight, or I'm going to try to," but if I got six people who said, "I'm going to show up every day and I'm going to willing to dedicate X amount of time to being a better person," I thought six was a success. So imagine what I felt like when I got to 100. Right. I also wrote down in the journal, like I do with everything else, why what was the goal and what was I willing to do, to achieve that goal.
Did you see that?
I did not.
I don't know if I want to put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Did you see that?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know that. When someone puts something up like that, I'm with you. Jimena, God bless you. And I'm so sorry to hear that, but it should be the last. This is not a behavior that people turn off. Sadly, this is a behavior that it's very rare. And I will say this, in my experience, it's a learned behavior. It's something that very often they watch their dad do, and their dad watched their dad do it. I don't think it spontaneously erupts very often. I think it's something that's a learned behavior. And you know what? I haven't been the greatest of fathers in my life. I really have not.
This is something you did
But
not
I have
fail.
never, ever put my hands on a woman in anger. I've never done that. That's something that fortunately I passed on to my kid, and I'm pretty proud of that. I really am. There's not a lot I can take pride in, but that one I can. And now, people, I got to get on my horse.
All right.
Because I've got medical things that I have to do and all kinds of other great stuff.
Come see me after.
I will absolutely come down. No, I will have time. All right, people. I am the Admiral, and I will be doing stuff later today on the boat. But now I've got to go and get all of my important parts looked at.
Should I hold on to your lights and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all right. This shouldn't have been there.
Oh, and you know what? This is always cool because when I walk out of here, the light is a really cool effect.
Will you be gentle with the door? I have to live with these people.
I will be gentle.
It's really it's the door's fault, not you.
All right.
All right. Love you, Dad.
Love you, Sven.
Look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. Wow, that was super gentle. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now it's just us. That's right. Jimena, reach out if there's anything that I can do for you, please reach out. Even if you just want to talk about it. I'm sure that there are some women in here that also have got your back. Thank you for sharing that. And no, you're not disturbing the conversation at all, Jimena. I'm glad that you shared. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know, whether or not you're safe. You know what I mean? That's what I want to know. I have wondered about this in your relationship. But I figured in my internal dialogue, I thought to myself, she would tell me, right? If this was happening. It's not something I should ask about, I think. So I'm glad that you shared that. And let's figure out what we need to do here, huh? Because that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. It's kind of weird being on the couch without my dad. The whole leaning forward thing is not the business. My poor back, guys. My poor 32-year-old back. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, Tommy just head out, Sierra Terry. Good morning. He had some medical stuff to do. He called me last night and he said, I got some stuff to do in the morning. We're gonna have to do this sucker at 6:30. I was like, 6:30? It's only a half hour before we usually start. But yeah, I was a little interesting. I'm sure that I'm my neighbor's favorite neighbor, if that makes any sense. 32-year-old back. That's right. I know. I'm 32 years young. My back feels like it's 56 though, for sure. I'm sure he was, Jimena. I am sure he was. Um, yeah, I these kinds of things are also progressive. Be careful. Please be careful. Like you're a fugitive, huh? Yeah, he would. Of course he says that, right? Don't listen to that crap. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. I was born in the spring, Chow Yun Smut. Spanx, I'm curious, are you able to make a YouTube living or do you have other jobs? I do have other jobs, but I could probably make a living. It's hard for me to, like, old habits die hard. I'm still doing stuff for the union now and again. So it's a nice stimulus, but I can survive on, I can barely make it if I so chose on the YouTube. And I have to say, that wouldn't be the case without my dad's expertise, without the Admiral himself. Oh, I was watching House of Dragon last night. Sometimes I go right over my head, especially when there's stuff on my mind. It's hard to. Sometimes it's hard for me to have fun when I have serious stuff swirling. If that makes sense. Interested in the ADHD chat and autism chat. I don't know anything about autism, so there was an ADHD chat. Let's see. Just one of wants want to post that. I can pull it up as well. It was just the other day. Do 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 do. You're so spoiled. I went and found this for you. Nobody wants to believe that about their significant other. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty once it is though, it is. Once it's happened, it's real. It cannot be denied anymore. Kraken Studio said, I found your dad through Aaron, who of course introduced us to Reese, but I don't have your personal channel if you have one. Well, this is pretty much the channel I frequent. I do have one, but there's only one video on there and I don't go live. So you can check out Spanx Calhoun, but there's not a whole lot going on over there. I may end up putting my fire performances on there once I acquire media to use in that regard. If the footage I had gotten in Salt Lake was of me, it would be on that other channel. So I guess I can give you that. Eventually there will be. Oh, I don't know if I told you guys. I went to that Flow Jam meetup with my peeps out here, and they invited me to perform on the 27th. So hopefully maybe I can get some footage on the 27th. It should be a good time. I'm sure it's their Burning Man fundraiser. I'm not entirely certain. But I'm really excited. I was surprised. It was like one of the first things that this lady said to me. It was like, do you want to come perform with us? I was like, yeah, duh. Heck yeah, I want to come perform. I guess we go view your channel and then I go copy paste. Here's my other channel. But like I said, there's only one video on there. I do not post regularly. It's kind of like a whatever channel, but eventually there will be more fire stuff on there because I'm a fire dancer. The only video on there is of one of the performances we took to Burning Man back when I was with Lucy. I was wondering what that sound was. It's the autoplay of the drums. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked, y'all. I'm pretty stoked. I was spinning my staff with my feet, and I didn't look, but it felt like everybody was watching me. It felt pretty cool. My hips were so friggin' sore. I think I went a little overboard with the feet spinning. Yeah, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference. Well, if you follow that link, Marjan, you'll find out what a fire dancer is. Have you ever been to Hawaii and done the luau experience and they light stuff on fire and do like a traditional like tribal dance kind of thing? It's kind of like that, except we have our own way of doing it. Oh, that's right. Ben Bacon Bits. Shameless promotion. Later today, we're going to be having a chat about ADHD. Me, Ben, Stacia, some other friends of ours. We're going to get together and talk about ADHD. Putting a panel together. What time's that going to be, Ben? Let the people know. Yes, Polynesian dances. Shannon Smith gets it. My hips were so freaking sore, dude. I tell you what, after dancing for, I think I was there for like an hour and 20 minutes tops. And this is not without taking breaks, you know what I mean? But like just that small session of dancing and twirling and whatever, flipping and acrobating, my whole body was sore for like, it's just today I start to feel a little regular, but this whole section of my shoulder is sore as can be. Both sides. My whole back is kind of beat up. I guess I use my shoulders a lot. Yeah, Hawaii is beautiful. I'm going down to Hawaii in November to Big Island for the regional Burning Man. My buddy, my brother's doing my brother's in charge of the opening ceremony, so he called me and all the peeps. We're all going to go meet up for one last burn before our fearless leader moves herself to Mexico. She's going to start a new chapter in her life, so the crew will probably change and morph a little bit after that because she is the glue that binds us together. Hail Queen Adrian. Love her. I have been to Hawaii a few times. It's great. I love it. I don't know, as far as like, I've never been there long enough to really like understand what it would take to live there. My brother Taj is out there right now, living. He's been out there for a long time, so he's pretty familiar with all that. But so I can't speak on it in a real light. But as far as a vacation place or a place to go, yeah, vacation, fantastic. One of a kind. Yeah, I would like that, Marjan. Will you hit me on my email, sober@myyahoo.com, or in the messenger or something like that? I would love that recommendation. Someone told me that that would help me with my sciatic stuff. And the only reference that I do have is in Salt Lake. So I would have to go out, not only go out there, but I would have to make an appointment because this is a busy man we're talking of. Absolutely, Lori Driscoll, my pleasure. Now, let's ask some questions. Do you guys have any fun plans this week? Anything coming up this week that you're dreading? Anything you're looking forward to? Or is it just like a run of the mill regular week? It's a regular Monday. Great success. Bow, 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 bow. Ben, did you tell us what time that thing is? 3 p.m. Arizona Pacific time. 3 p.m. Pacific. 3 p.m. Pacific. If I don't write that down, I might be in trouble. All right. I know I was working on some subject matter that was specifically requested by the crew, and I have been doing these things with my pops, but have no fear. These shows are still being written, made, and will be presented. I'm just going to take my dad as I can get him, um, especially with the time mix up this morning. I thought to myself, maybe I'll just we'll switch it up, or I won't. it's fine, etc., etc. But I think it's really important that I utilize him as a tool while I can, because he will eventually go back to Tennessee or whatever, live his life, go on his adventures, blah blah blah. So while he's here and able to help me, while he's here and able to give me good examples and do a ride along in the morning, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So, but have no fear, these other shows will be here. Jury duty summons. Quieter week than regular. Getting on top of stuff. Have to organize and write up. Feels good not being hectic. I tell you what, Nicola, we deserve it, especially after all the time we spent being hectic, eh? ER tonight? Not even kidding. I hope not, Debbie P. Let us know what's going on. I am rolling with it, and I get to be with him. That's right. And I know I have what it takes inside. I get caught up in my head a lot, um, and it's hard to fully be myself when I know that everybody and their brother can hear what I'm saying. And I don't mean the internet. I mean like the people that I have to live next to can 100% hear me, which is wild. It's a wild concept. I literally have to attempt to let go of that knowledge, and it's in the back of my head. So it's hard to do what my dad does. But he was doing it far longer than he had the knowledge that was happening. So I think that he has some very nice, solid routine to fall back on, right? He can just get in the zone because he's always been getting in the zone, right? But so I'm working on it. It's all good. We'll figure it out. I believe we will talk more about his time in Tennessee. He sure had a lot to talk about and to say, but you know how we do. We get on tangents, we get excited, and we let the crew steer the boat a little bit. So I will make sure that tomorrow or this evening, I'll put it in his ear today, and we'll either get together tomorrow morning and talk about it, or maybe he'll talk about it on his evening show tonight. But I will put it in his ear that we weren't finished with that conversation. Goosebump. Thank you for bringing that up. You are correct. Thanks for reminding me. I wasn't done talking about that with him. Makes my heart smile to see you two together. The ease to be around each other. I feel like he wants to be with you. We want to be with each other. We have missed each other for a very, very long time. And even, now that we have the ability to be together, we're both quite busy and we have a mission that we're on together to like accomplish. So it's not all fun and games, even though it would be cool to like try and relive my childhood and his young adultness, but it's not to be. We'll find our time as we can. Yeah, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference. Find yourself stuck in your head the newest nut, do something physical. Um, and whatever it is, I find that particularly tenacious thoughts that I have, um, that I are having trouble getting rid of, journaling through, or exercising through, or whatever the case may be. I find that these particularly stubborn thoughts, um, there's something left to be gleaned, to be learned from the thought, the memory, the conversation, as you put, right? There is something left to accept, and it might be something that's seemingly trivial, but I find that these particularly stubborn thoughts and memories won't go away because there's something that I still need to gain from that thought. And I know that may not be very initially helpful, but I would try to entertain that thought just a little bit. What about it is bothering you so much, right? That's probably the closest bit of it to the truth. Hey Spanx, at the gym and the armchair massage. Oh my gosh, you need this chair for those sore muscles. I tell you what, I just need a personal masseuse. Still needs to do a chair yoga video. I realized I was thinking about doing one myself. I don't even have a proper chair to do one with. Otherwise, I would have already done it. I'll let him know about that. Just sent an email. Thank you, Marjan. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. All you need is 8 minutes, they say. There are particularly stubborn thoughts, and those I tend to entertain a little bit because they're trying to tell me something. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to get out of here. Finish my yogurt. Yeah, maybe get some exercise in. Where are you located, Shannon Smith? Are you near me? Are you near enough to be utilized? I need a nose hair trimmer. I tell you what, these little hairs are starting to bug me. I give bangin' massages, no joke. Chow Yun Smut. I need a good massage. I have to say. Florida. Well, if I'm ever in Florida, I'll give you a holler. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. 69 people watching. I love it. You guys have a great day. Make it a good one. Great success. All right. And we'll see you later.